So, when the temperature starts to drop, what's the first thing we do? We go into full-on cozy mode for our cats, right? We turn up the heat, maybe toss them a few extra treats, and let them have their pick of the sunniest, warmest spots in the house. But what if I told you that some of our best intentions are actually causing them harm?
Yeah, it's a really tough question to ask yourself, but it's so important. Because every single winter, so many cats deal with things like joint pain, breathing issues, even kidney strain. And a lot of the time, it's triggered by the very things we do thinking we're showing them love.
And you know, the hardest part of all of this? Cats are absolute masters at hiding when they're not feeling well. It's a survival instinct. They just suffer in silence. And that means the responsibility falls on us to really understand the hidden dangers lurking in their cozy winter world. So let's dive in and uncover them together.
First things first, we need to bust a major myth about winter comfort, and that's the idea that more is always better. As you're about to see, that's definitely not always the case. It just feels so natural, doesn't it? Giving our cats a little extra food in the winter. We think we're helping them pack on a protective layer to stay warm. But here's the reality for our indoor cats. They're actually moving less and burning way fewer calories. So that extra food, it pretty much goes straight to weight gain, putting a whole lot of extra strain on their joints and their heart.
So the fix here is actually really simple, and it's much, much healthier. Instead of giving them more food, just focus on better food. Try serving some wet food that's been warmed up to about body temperature. Not only does this sneak in some extra hydration, which is super important in that dry winter air, but it also makes them feel way more satisfied after their meal. It's a total win-win.
But it's not just about the food bowl. Things like the air they breathe and the stimulation they get, or don't get, these are critical factors that we tend to overlook completely.
You know that look? Your cat is just snoozing all day, and you think, must be that winter laziness setting in. Well, here's a little secret. More often than not, they're sleeping because they're bored stiff, not because they're tired. When their natural instinct to hunt isn't being used, their stress hormones can actually rise. And that's when you might see them get a little irritable, or, start scratching up your favorite armchair.
The solution is so simple. Just 10 minutes of really focused playtime twice a day, that's it. It can totally reset their whole mood. Use a feather wand or a laser pointer, something that acts like prey. And here is the golden rule. Always let them catch it at the end. That final pounce, that win, releases a rush of dopamine in their brain, which is this amazing calming chemical that makes them feel successful and content.
Of course, we want to keep all that cozy, warm air in and the cold air out. But when we seal up every single window and crack, we're also trapping stale air that's just swimming with dust, dander, and all kinds of allergens. And cats are incredibly sensitive to air quality. So what you might think is laziness could actually be what's called respiratory fatigue from breathing in all that gunk.
Now don't worry, you don't have to live in an icebox. Just cracking a window for a few minutes every day is usually enough to get some fresh air circulating through the house. And hey, if you've got a cat that's particularly sensitive or sneezes a lot, an air purifier can be an absolute game changer for them.
All right, let's move on to your cat's sensory world. The smells in your home, the heat, and even the subtle ways they move. Believe it or not, they're all sending you silent signals. You just have to know how to read them.
You know, we all love filling our homes with those classic winter scents. Pine, cinnamon, eucalyptus. It just feels festive. But a lot of the essential oils and chemicals in those scented candles and diffusers are actually toxic to cats. They can really irritate their lungs and, over a long period, even cause liver damage. Pay attention. If you see your cat suddenly start avoiding a certain room, or if they're licking their nose a lot, they might be telling you, hey, that smell is really bothering me.
But here's the good news. There is a super simple roadmap for this. You can still have that cozy glow. You just need to swap out those potentially harmful scents for some safer alternatives. Things like unscented candles or ones made from soy or beeswax give you that exact same cozy vibe without putting your cat's health at risk.
Okay, this next danger is one of the most serious ones out there, mostly because it's completely invisible. When we crank up the furnace, that central heat creates this incredibly dry air that acts like a sponge, just constantly pulling moisture from your cat's skin and even from their lungs with every breath.
Now, here's the tricky part. Cats have a naturally low thirst drive. It's a holdover from their desert-dwelling ancestors. So they're not just going to go drink more water to make up for it. We have to be proactive. A humidifier is fantastic for putting moisture back into the air. A water fountain can make drinking more appealing. And you guessed it, serving that warm, wet food is one of the best ways to get more hydration into their system and protect their kidneys from that long-term strain.
This brings us to our last and honestly, maybe the most important point of all. I want you to really let this sink in. It's a huge shift in perspective. We have to stop just dismissing things as winter laziness or, oh, they're just getting old, when it could actually be a sign of pain.
This is where you have to become a bit of a detective. You see, cold weather can make arthritis and joint stiffness flare up, just like in people. So start looking for the clues. Are they hesitating for a second before they jump onto the couch? Are they suddenly avoiding the stairs? Have they stopped grooming themselves as much? These aren't signs of a lazy cat. These are classic signs of a cat that is trying to avoid pain. Okay, I know we've covered a ton of information, so let's pull all of these solutions together into one simple, actionable checklist that you can use to help your cat have their best winter ever.
And here it is. This is your 6-point plan for a happy, thriving cat this winter. See? It's not about making huge, dramatic changes. It's all about these small, consistent acts of awareness. Better food, not more. A little bit of playtime. Cracking a window. Safer scents. More hydration. And most importantly, just paying attention. These simple shifts can make a world of difference for their health and happiness.
So I'll leave you with this one question to really think about tonight. Our cats, they're talking to us all the time, just not with words. Now that you know what to look for, what silent signals is your cat sending you?